Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the science of behavior. One of the areas that psychology studies and has studied through the years in great detail is why do we as human beings choose to do what we do? Because, sometimes you see someone take an action and you think, what, why would you choose something like that? Obviously, there's something wrong with you, kind of a feeling. And so being as psychologists are interested in people in general, they really started looking into, okay, so why do we make the choices we make when it comes to behavior? And probably the simplest explanation is that we all engage in our behaviors, whatever they may be, or even lack of behavior, so not taking action or not doing anything, because it gets us something. And when we want to change a behavior, in order to do that, we have to identify what it is that behavior is getting for us. So are we getting a tangible for it? For example, how many of you would continue to go faithfully to work if you weren't getting paid? Probably not. There's not many people who would say, well, no, I wouldn't do this job for no money. Are you choosing the food you're choosing because it's giving you an enjoyable taste, or it's got an emotional connection? Are you not engaging in an activity that you think you would like to because you're trying to avoid failure, or, you really don't actually want to do it, and by avoiding it, you're avoiding something uncomfortable. And so when you're thinking about behavior, the first thing you do is identify what it is you're getting. And then after that, you start thinking of other ways that you could achieve the same thing, but perhaps in a healthier fashion. For example, if someone is an emotional eater and they eat in order to manage their emotions, then perhaps they'll try a different method of managing their emotions, such as distraction or talking to a friend or numerous other options that are out there prior to turning to comfort food. For someone who, really doesn't want to go to the gym because it takes up too much time on their Saturday, are there other things that can be moved around on your Saturday so that you still have time, but then you're allowed to go to the gym? If it's not possible to replace a negative behavior or behavior you want to change with something else, then you may decide that you're going to reward yourself for doing a behavior that you find kind of distasteful with something that is enjoyable. Or you may tie the behavior that you really don't want to do into moving towards a goal that is actually important to you, because we will engage in unpleasant behavior if it moves us towards a specific goal. So, for example, you may not want to go to the gym. However, you may want to go on a vacation where there's a lot of walking. And so, okay, well, if I put up with kind of the short-term discomfort of going to the gym, then I'll be able to walk on this vacation and keep up with everybody. And that is more important to me than my free time on a Saturday. So that's going to motivate me to make a decision to go. And so the key to a lot of behavior that we just don't want to change is, until we have a different way of meeting our needs that particular behavior is meeting, we're not going to change it. And the same thing goes for other people, for children. If you set a boundary in for another person, perhaps they used to be a boundary crasher and they would just run right through your boundaries and you would put up with it constantly. And so they just kept getting what they wanted. And you talk to them about changing, you talk to them about doing something different, and their response was, yeah, okay. And then they just kept doing what they were doing. And that keeps happening because what they're doing keeps getting them what they want, whatever it is they get from waltzing right through your boundaries. And so in order to change that in another person, you have to stop giving them what they want from the behavior they're doing. So in the case of setting a boundary, you may say, I don't want you showing up unannounced to my house. But every time they show up unannounced to your house, you open the door and let them in. So basically, no matter what you say, they're still getting what they want. However, if you say, I don't want you showing up at my house unannounced, and then every time they show up, you don't let them in, if they want to see you, they're going to have to start calling first because their old behavior is not working. So what I would encourage you to do is take a look at some of the areas in your own life, perhaps, where you want to change some behaviors and you're not quite sure why you can't gain any footing. Or take a look at the behavior of some other individuals in your life that maybe you wish they'd do differently towards you, or, some boundaries you'd like to put in, and spend some time thinking about what is that behavior getting you or them, and what can you replace it with.